like how should I call you? Because like I don't even want to be disrespectful. Like, should I call you because you were a minister as well? Like, I just want to make sure I give you the right title. So like how should folks, like, if they were to meet you, like, should they just call you Tamara, or is it like the honorable Tamara, or like, you know?
Not necessarily. It's amazing because people still refer to me as MP, and not when I say people, a lot
Yeah.
of people. And in, in the first couple of weeks of me, you know, exiting Parliament and decided not to run again in the next election, and people kept saying, I was like, oh, I'm no longer MP. And then this one person said to me, "You gonna always be MP.
Yeah.
It doesn't go away." Kind of like President of
Yeah.
America gonna president, whether he's serving or not. So it took some getting used to, and every now and then they might have to say MP twice or three times before I actually look around. But I don't even fight it anymore. And no, you could just call me Mr. Mara. I'm good with
Sweet,
that.
Miss Tamara. I guess, like, how do you even like introduce yourself to people outside of the Caribbean that don't even like know like about all of the amazing things that you do?
I don't tell him. I
That
don't tell him. I don't tell him. I just go with whatever started in that moment.
yeah.
Go with, and then eventually, so what has happened in the past is I've made some new friends. As you go, you're gonna meet people, and I don't ever tell them about, that I've been a member of parliament in my country. I don't ever
Yeah.
do that. But eventually people tend to, for some odd reason, Google you. And as soon as you put my name in Google, then pop, 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 pop,
Yeah.
pop, pop, comes up. So, and at that point, most people will be, how come you didn't tell me this? "Oh, you didn't ask."
That is true. And it's interesting because it's like on some level, it's like you don't even need to brag. Like, this is just your experiences. It's like, why would I need to bring this up randomly in a conversation just so you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
How does it add
Yeah.
value to our conversation? Hey, by the way, I was a
Yeah,
past
it's like
MP.
I feel like more of like an ego thing where people just want to be like, "Oh, by the way,
Yes.
just so you know, I'm better than you." Okay.
Yeah, exactly. I don't ever.
It's weird, but it's interesting. That's awesome. That, I mean, that just goes to show you how humble I think you are. And like for me, like, just I have watched your journey from afar, obviously, because I've been friends with your daughter for a while, and you have just always been like a super strong like figure, I think, in the community. And like even through your journey, I feel like you've always like carried yourself with grace, which I think is so like just shows incredible strength, because like you're going through something that like is a mental toll, a physical toll, an emotional toll, and you still like go about bringing positivity and like showing people that life is beautiful and that you can do whatever it is that you want to do. And then like I guess like how did you cultivate like that mindset of just always being like so radiant? Because I feel like you can like always sense a beautiful soul. And like even when I watched your interview with Ralph, I was just like, wow, like she has such a beautiful soul. Like,
Thank you. I credit it to God's grace. You know, if I should step out of God's grace, if I should deny what God has done for me and in my life, I think you would probably see the weak, sad, angry sometimes, human that I am. But I insist that regardless to how hard it is, I insist to stay in God's grace. I insist to have covenant with him. I insist to give him the glory every single time I speak. I don't know. We 4 minutes into recording. I didn't know where we started or not, but I typically try my best to, as often as I can, when I address people, I always start by saying, to God be
mm,
the glory. Because everything that I do and everything that I am, all the inspiration that other people get from me, that glory is not mine. That glory
mm,
belongs to God. And so that's how I stay strong. That's where the grace comes from. That's how it looks like she makes it look so easy. I've had people tell me in the past that you making all these movies where people are suffering with cancer, you making them look like liars because you don't act like
Yeah.
someone who has battled or is battling or anything like that. And that is because I truly believe, and strange enough, I had a weird encounter this week with someone who
Mm,
doesn't believe, but I truly believe that God lives in me. And if I believe that God lives in me, that means that there is a
mm,
king in me. Now, if we take that out of the spiritual and put that into the natural, if you know that the king is coming to your house, you are going to make sure your house is to the standard that a king can feel comfortable. You are going to feed, you are going to make sure the food that you put in your house is not junk, but stuff that will keep a king healthy. You are going to make sure that the way you behave is as if there is a king in your presence. And so we there's a king that lives in me. So I have to carry
yeah.
myself with grace. I have to speak confidently. I have to express what it is to be in the presence
Hmm.
of a king
That is so
24/7.
beautiful.
And the odd thing about that is we don't know how powerful we are. We don't have a clue. When
I
you actually
know.
think,
Yeah, you're preaching to the choir. I'm like, exactly. People have no clue how powerful they are. It is crazy. Like, woo, I felt that. Hmm.
yes, yes, yes. And so to answer your question, it's God's grace and it's for His glory. And I intend to maintain that until the day I expire.
Yeah, I mean, it is that is incredible. I feel like that is so beautifully said. And I feel like when you really believe that like you are a being of God, like how do you feel? Like I feel like that is the most like just the top affirmation. Like nothing can stop you. Like the only thing stopping you is your mental obstacles against yourself, cuz God does whatever he wants. He creates, and we all can create. Like literally all of us. We all have that the power. Like yeah, I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more. And I guess like when did you, cuz I one thing I recognized, cuz you had all of these commas and I was like, well yeah, she's a renaissance woman. That's like the exact same thing. That's how I choose to identify myself. And in case like nobody's ever referred to you as a renaissance woman, let me say someone that's like a renaissance woman or man, they're like experts in many things. So it's like they're business people, they're inventors, they're scientists, they're doctors, they're designers, but they just take on like their intellectual curiosity to go out and express themselves in a multitude of avenues. And when you were like just describing all the things that you would achieve, I was like, yeah, of course she's a renaissance woman. And I feel like there's so many people within the island that are renaissance people, but we don't identify ourselves that way. And then you go to like the states where everything is about your career, and being an expert in one thing, and I'm just like, this doesn't fit like how my people showed me to be, which is that we could be great at many things, and that's just who we are because we're a multicultural pot of people. But I'm curious, like what led you to being a creator and to like go out and create all of these incredible businesses and now books? Like what has inspired you to create it, all of this amazing products and services?
You know, every experience in my life has has positioned me for the next thing that I would conceive. So every situation that I find myself in, good or bad, positive or negative, something has to come out of it. And in everything, there is a lesson. And sometimes we find ourselves going through the same trials all the time and we wonder why, but it is because you did not execute on the lesson
Exactly,
that you were
exactly,
taught.
exactly.
And so until we get to that place, we are going to find ourselves going in circles all the time. I have experienced different phases of life, and I am now in a new phase of life again. And out of this has to come some form of greatness
Mm.
as well. I mean, out of out of cancer came 9 children's books so far and counting. Because now not only am I writing these children's books, and I say children, but I mean I'm writing from about 4 years old straight to
Mm,
about 16 years old or even higher, because my last book was about the 11th grade, the 11th and 12th grades of high school. So you're looking at 17 or 18 years. But the outside of that, I've managed to inspire other people to start writing children's book. And yesterday, as a matter of fact, today, um a cousin of mine that I've inspired to write a children's book wrote it, and he published on, well, through my account, he's published on Amazon and now has a children's book
amazing.
there. So not only is there a lesson that we're supposed to learn, but we're also supposed to pay it forward. And
Exactly.
and I have had a lot in life, and I have lost a lot in life. And so now that I'm trying to build back myself, I don't want to just say I'm my brother's keeper, but I want to be my brother's keeper. And so typically someone else would write a book, and okay, there's not much local people with children's book. There is quite a few, but not many, and the fact that now out of mine will come more, that's paying it forward. And so in order to be blessed, you got to be a blessing, and so that's where it came from. The books came out of my time, my battle with cancer. I meant I wasn't just going to sit there and allow it to just rob me of a whole year again without getting anything out of it. And it's a very expensive, in
Mm.
Dutch you say a dure grap. It's a very expensive joke, this battle with cancer. And so even outside of your medical bills, you have accumulated so many other bills. And as I mentioned earlier, I resigned from parliament. Well, I say resign, but I just did not run in the next election that was to come. And so that means that I quit my job. And so um, God bless these books, because of them, I'm still managing to have an income, because all my other businesses as well, are closed. And so this right here, I truly believe is going to allow me to see places in this world that I've never seen. Just taking these books, reading them to children, and people literally
Mhm.
buying them for themselves, for gifts and everything. I am expecting greatness to come from these books, and I will continue to write and continue to encourage others to write and continue to publish others' books through my platform if they can't do it for themselves.
Well, it's funny that you say that because, like, I remember when I finished watching your interview with Ralph, because low key, I wrote like books in middle school, right? And like the long story short is I was trying to make it into a movie. So I first wrote like a whole script, and then I, like, kid you not, emailed it to who I thought would be Will Smith or Will Smith's agent and was like, bro, like, can we, let's make a movie. Like, I was so convinced. I was like, yeah, he gonna read it. He's gonna be like, oh my God, this is so good. Let's find this child in the middle of the Caribbean and pluck her and bring her to Hollywood. Obviously that didn't work out. They were like, who are you? Ma'am, this is not the process. And I was like, okay. Um, but like I
You
did,
have
I mean,
funds.
I
That's the
guess.
what I'm telling you. You got funds. Let me tell you something. It's amazing the little blessings, because the fact that they responded. I have been writing to Oprah and Ellen for the years, and no one has ever responded. The fact that you got a
You're
no
right.
is a
You're
reason
so
to give
right.
God glory, because then, okay, so what is the process?
Oh, that's a valid
Teach
point.
me.
That's
You
such a
know,
valid point.
don't take the no as no. Sometimes is yes. You know, perspective is everything.
It really is.
Is everything. Because I would wish Ellen would answer me and say, hey, no, we won't be able to do that, because then I'm going to say, how about this? And we're going to be going till you find something boo boo to get me on this show. I can already
You would
picture
be
myself saying,
fantastic. I'm
hey,
telling you,
as I walk up Ellen's stage, and I'm going to be like, to God be the glory, because only He knew will know how I've
for
gotten there.
sure. No, you're so right. But like I turned it into a book. And so like right now, like, Kid you not, like, this is, like, my copyrighted version that my mom, like, mailed back to us in St. Martin, so I had legal protection because I tried to publish it, like, with the House of Nahesi, but then it didn't fit their genre because it's a sci-fi book. It's, like, completely, left field with, like, aliens and, like, all just sci-fi. But
Did you publish it?
no, that's what I'm trying to do now is, like, re-edit it and kinda modernize it because I wrote it when I was, like, 13, and so kinda, like, just fix it a bit because I reread it and I was like, "The story, the meat of it is good, it's just there's a lot in here that I wanna fix." So that's what I'm trying to do now, and then actually hopefully get it published. But my goal now is like I don't want to, Will Smith missed his shot. Now I want to get on the Netflix, you know what I mean? Like get it up there. Cuz I really would love like to make like shows for the Caribbean, like by Caribbean writers with like Caribbean actors, our own people voicing animations. Like that would be incredible. Like absolutely incredible.
So let me tell you this. So I never had a book launch. And the reason I've never had a book launch is because I don't want a typical book launch where I'm sitting there waiting for people to come and I sign this book, or I get up and give this beautiful speech. I'm very rough around the edges. And I do not like to
Mm,
do things normal. So the reason I did not do my book launches yet is because my book launch is literally going to be skits of my
beautiful.
stories. So the idea is, and I already had spoken to Miklos, who does skits back home, and I just never got around to it because I'm going to need to interview, or should I say, all these kids. I'm going to have to do auditions with them to get them, because we're gonna do I have 9 books. I'm looking at doing at least 5 skits out of the 9 books and run them all the same night, and have people come, and that will be my book launch. Okay.
That's beautiful.
That's the dream. And then once you get them to skits, you're talking about Tyler Perry. He took his skits and he turned them into movies. So you are on some Will Smith, I'm on some Tyler, and that's where I'm trying to get. Because my books are not just your average book. My books are literally
Yeah.
self help books for kids, for children, for preteens, for teenagers. I mean, I have one book that speaks about anger, and it's about this girl who got upset with her brother, rightfully so, because he made a mess that her mom didn't ask questions and had her clean up. And in her anger, because of his nonchalant reaction to her, she threw her phone at him. He missed him, hit the wall, shattered her phone. Homework assignments, class schedules, everything is in this phone. And so she allowed
Mhm.
her anger to get the best of her, and it rippled
Mhm.
into a downward spiral of her missing classes, being late for class, not having the right assignment, and getting in trouble with her teachers at school or whatever, all because she acted on anger. And the truth is, we have so many young
Yep.
kids that are very angry for what reason I don't know, but
Mm.
they have this angry mentality. And so that book speaks to that character and allows them to reflect and think on, if I throw this phone, it's going to get break. If I miss him, I'm going to get in trouble with school. I'm not going to be able to finish my assignments. And so that's what that book is about.
Yeah, mindfulness, like, that's so important. Exactly.
One of my other books I have is called Friend Mode is Our Safe Zone. Now, believe it or not, that is a strategy that Moosh came up with when she was very young, because I was a very strict parent. And so she realized she had problems speaking to me or expressing herself to me
Mm.
without feeling like she was crossing the line. And she came up with this thing called friend mode. And in friend mode, she could tell me anything, but as a mother, I'm not allowed to get mad, because in friend mode, I'm supposed to be her
Mm.
friend and give her advice. And that worked out so well for us over the years. Everyone always wondered, how come you and Musha relationship so good? How come you and Musha tell you everything? Even, I mean, the things that would piss a typical parent completely off, me and Mush had
That's
down pat. We
important, though.
talked
That's
about
so
it. We worked it
important.
out. We fell out now and then. Don't get me wrong, but that book is about communicating with your parents, because in today's world we are faced with predators who are just sitting by waiting for that kid who says, I have nobody I can talk to,
And
I
they
have all these
waiting.
feelings trapped inside of me. And this predator is going to say, hey, you can trust me, you can talk to me, and before you know it, he's either pimping the girls or having the boys taking drugs around the world, all because there was just that little breach in communication
Mm-hmm.
between parents and children, or teachers and children. And unfortunately, even teachers mess it up, along the way, in doing things they're not supposed to with kids. And so children need to have that safe place where they can express themselves, seek sound advice, and the like. And so that's just two books I explained, but I could go down the line with all nine books. Every single book I have is some form of moral principle, discipline, anything that helps them be better human beings as they grow up, and to help them curb some of the obstacles they're going to have to encounter as human beings growing up in today's world. And so, I mean, my last book, my last two, one is called It's Not Always About You. And that book is so deep. That has to do with your reputation, that you know rebellious,
Mm,
the victim, always victim, always angry, always exaggerating a situation, you know and in the end, it's just you projecting your stuff on other people, or taking on what they project
exactly.
onto you. We got to know who we are as people, and become so deeply rooted in who we are, that we
Exactly.
don't have to be moved emotionally, but
Exactly.
what people try to project on us. But how do you break that down for a teenager to understand?
Powerful. So
And that's what I
powerful.
did with
That's so
that book.
powerful. Like that is so powerful. Like that's not enough. Like people do not teach you this stuff in school, which is sad. Like like I know so many people that could benefit from like just that
Yeah,
shift in perspective like you were talking about. Like that is yeah, to break it down like that. Powerful.
yeah. The last book I wrote is called When Is Enough Enough? And that book is about four students, high school students, because they all drive. And they were just three of the four was just rebellious. Moosh is in that book. I use Moosh as the character who's always calming the situation down, And so in that book, these three girls just always challenging, always rebelling. And what happened was, they got in trouble with a teacher, and Moosh was like, guys, y'all gonna get in trouble with a teacher. No one listened, they got in trouble. Then it was like, guys, y'all gonna get in trouble with a principal. If you leave the school grounds, you're not supposed to leave. And then boom, they lose. They ended up indeed um getting in trouble with the principal. And then eventually they ended up getting in trouble, almost getting in trouble with the police, the authorities, and that's what got them to calm down. And so that book basically allows teenagers to see that, hey, stop. When is enough enough? Do you have to literally end up in jail in order for you to stop? And thankfully that didn't happen to those girls. After they were in a chase with the police and managed to dust the police out, they
Yeah.
realized, hey, we done. We're push, you right, we ain't doing this no more. That's how they ended up stopping. So the books are all relatable. Things that really happen in day-to-day life.
Mm. I'm curious. So, like, are what languages are the books written in? Is it just like standard English, or do you use like some Saint Martin English in there as well?
No, okay, so I don't have, none of my books are local. And when I say local,
Okay,
no
okay.
twang, no slang. All of them are very international books. Very they are all about things that anyone all over the world we're going can relate to. So in the end, while I think I may very well do a local book, the reason that I want my books to be not just relatable on the island or in the Caribbean, is because of the topics that I speak about. The topics I speak about are, as long as you are human, as long as you have a not as long as you are human, you can relate to these, because at some point you are a child and you grow through these challenges. Some people are just little angels and they don't have to go through any of this stuff. But for sure, some friend who've been through some stuff. And so, like you said, you have to be creative in all these different areas. So everything that has happened to me while growing the one daughter that I have, I'm putting all those, because so many people say to me, Moosh is such a good girl.
Yeah.
Your daughter's a really good kid. But that didn't just happen. I mean, it took, and not, I can't even take all the credit, because I truly believe in the neighborhood of bringing up a child. I was not that parent who would go off on everybody if they disciplined my daughter. I mean, I was not that parent that gonna let anybody take advantage of her, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, you have those kids who are gonna bring my mother for you. I'm not that mother. I'm not that mother. I'm not that mother. I'm that mother who wants to know what is right and what is wrong. And if you were wrong,
Yeah.
you were wrong. And if you are
Yeah.
right, then you are right. And I always said to Moosh, I say, you know something, Moosh? It doesn't matter what it is. I just need one thing from you: the truth. If you did it, and we need to get a lawyer, we're going to get the best lawyer in town, and we're going to fight this. But if you did not do it, just tell mama so that I can go out there and act a fool because you did not do it. I just need to know. The one thing that I've always taught my daughter is I need to be able to trust you. And so do not lie to me. I can't deal
Mm.
with lies. You want to see me go crazy? Lie to me.
Yeah, I feel. I mean, lying just like the thing is, eventually you either get caught or you have to build the lie further than it needs to be
Oh,
built. Cause
exactly.
like eventually someone's gonna ask you, and if you slip up, like that's it. And like people always think, oh no, I can maintain it. It's all good. And it's like it never is. It never is. Like it always, like as my mom always says, whatever is dead in the dark will always come to light one way or the
Right.
other. Like you can't escape it. And it's like you said, it's like one of those things that keeps repeating until you learn your lesson. And it's like for me it's crazy because like I feel like only recently did I realize like the whole repetition to evolve aspect of like, because sometimes I'd be sitting there like, why am I still having these like same trains of thought that like I thought like we were done with this, or like you just see like events replay themselves and you're like, well, clearly I failed that. But then you realize, like, oh, like that's what this all was. And then you learn, and then you're like, it's a new day. We've advanced,
Yep.
you know? But it takes like a while, I feel like, for people to even like realize like all of these little mental shifts. And if people like, if you don't have people around you that are giving you positive influences that are trying to uplift your mind, like it's really hard to know like how to manage your anger, how to deal with when you're feeling sad, how to practice gratitude. Like if no one tells you, you just, it's tough to know how to deal with like all of the doubt and like the fears that every human has just because we're human.
Yep. Indeed.
But that's awesome. I feel like, yeah, Moosh is so lucky to have you. Like that's awesome because I feel like so many moms aren't even like that. They're just very stuck in what they want. I was very lucky. My mom has always been there to listen to me, even when I told her things she didn't ask or want to hear. I was just like, I need somebody to talk to. Like, she was always there. But it's awesome to have like really to show other parents like what you can do to really build that bond of trust between you and your kid because they need you. Like they need you.
Like I read for a couple exam classes at the high schools, and I would share like the friend mode situation, and a lot of them would be like, "Hey, that's not gonna work with my mom. My mom is not open like that." And every time a child says that, it breaks my heart because when I was growing up, my mother was very open. But outside of that, whether she wanted to hear it, if she wouldn't listen, no problem. She was going to read it because I love writing letters. And I would properly express myself, leaving, exactly what I like or don't like. So, and I think it's important that children have that. And so that's why it's such a big deal to me that we have a safe place that we can communicate with our children. Because when you go back, when a child reaches to a point where they have committed a crime and now it's time to go to jail, and they have to go to social workers and the like, it always stems back to some childhood situation that child was not able to express themselves or ask for help at that time. It almost always trickles back to childhood. And whether you had money or no money, whether you lived in a mansion or in a shack or on the
Does not
street, it
matter. Yeah,
always
exactly.
comes back to a missing link in communication. A misunderstanding gone wild is a murderer, is a serial killer.
For sure.
Because at some point when they were crying out for help,
Nobody
no one
listened.
heard them.
Mhm.
And we literally, and I think I literally want to write a book about that for children, because me crying out to you for help doesn't necessarily come from my mouth. My
Mhm.
mouth don't say, "Hey, mommy, help
Yeah,
me." My
exactly.
actions do.
Yeah.
We have to pay attention to our children and see down to the very way they walk when they are with or without you, down to the way they talk, down to the way they dress. You know those kids who leave home in a sweater but get to school and in the spaghetti straps?
Yeah.
All of those things, everything have a meaning, have a
Yeah,
reason. And
exactly.
so, and sometimes a child who doesn't want to go to school because maybe he or she's being bullied at school is going to try to leave the house looking crazy. And as a mother, you're going to be like, get back here and change that.
Yeah.
Also, that I can be late because maybe before class start, I always have to deal with these bullies. You don't know. We do not know what these kids face. We send them to school where you think it's safe, and it's not always safe. So we really need to find a way that we can interpret their behaviors, that we can interpret their languages, so that we can tell when something is wrong with our kids, or create a safe place where they can tell you anything.
But I feel like sometimes it's like for some of the parents, I feel like it's like they've never had that role model for themselves. So they're just like continuing, a cycle that they're just used to. So it's like for like you were mentioning, like you were very open with your mom. But like imagine people that were never like they had like parents that were always gone or just nobody really ever cared. And so they were just like maybe for them it's just like, oh, I'm just trying to feed you. Like you're supposed to go to school. Like I trust the school to do what it's supposed to do, but obviously that also has its
Because
issues.
parents send their kids to school, their children to school, so that teachers can raise them.
Yeah.
So there are some parents who are so, and I could give you another one. There are so many parents who are more concerned about their children being their friends, that they don't see they are crossing that invisible or blurred line of parenthood and friendship. And through not wanting to upset your child too much, or through so wanting to be your child's best friend, you miss out on opportunities of disciplining them, and also you miss out on opportunities of teaching them, because you are too busy trying to be their friend. And that can lead to the destruction of a very smart or talented child. You can literally destroy your child's future career in childhood by not applying the proper disciplines, morals, principles, mannerisms. You can destroy your child's future from here.
Mhm.
And so it's so important, communication. Another thing that we have to teach our children is to be grateful. Gratitude. Because the more grateful you are, the more you will be blessed. It's just nature. That's just the way it's done. The more thanks you give, the more reasons you get to give thanks. You understand? And so we have to teach our children to be grateful with what they have. It is okay to aspire for more. It is okay to be ambitious and work hard to get more. But it is very important that we understand what we have now, that we appreciate what we have now,
Mm.
that we value what we have now. Because until we have those three things locked down, you're going to constantly be missing on other opportunities that you could have been grateful for.
This is true. This is so true.
And so I have a book that's called Happy with My Haves. That book is on
Mm.
gratitude. And so to me, these are the things children need to know and need to be able to rely
Yeah.
on. Another book I wrote is called Does My Belly Have a Brain?
Mm.
Now, why is it when you got a crush on a guy and you as much as see him, you get butterflies in your belly? Why is it when you do something, you spoke ill of someone that is supposed to be a friend, and the minute they come around, your whole entire being, your stomach is all
It
upset
nuts. Yeah.
because you don't if they heard what you said, or if they were told or they saw, that's your intuition. When you want to do something that you know is wrong, your stomach always flutters, or it hurts, or you get, in my case, I get an instant diarrhea. If it ain't good,
I feel you. The nerve poops are
instant.
the worst.
Exactly. And so this book is about teaching children to be able to identify their intuition, because most of the times your intuition tells you to not do what's wrong.
Mm.
Your intuition always want you, hey, it's like it jerks on you. Hey, 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 that's not good what you're doing there. Stop. Don't eat that cookie. Go ask for it. Don't lie and say you did your homework and you didn't. Go finish your homework. Hey, don't leave the bathroom until you brush your teeth. You know, these are your intuition. And when you don't do them, your belly hurts, your head hurts. And so these two little girls wanted to know, does my belly have a brain? Because everything that I do that I know I'm not supposed to do, or every little white lie that I tell, I feel it in my stomach. Every time I take a cookie from the cookie jar at 3 o'clock in the morning when I wake up, I feel as if my belly saw me,
Mm.
you know? And so that's what that book is about. So again, all of them are in line with the same types of things.
I guess how what is your writing process? Like do you have to go somewhere for like 6 months and hunker down and write, or do you like I guess like what is your process for like coming up first coming up with the vision of the book and then actually manifesting it and like having it available for folks to actually get it on the island or like purchase it from Amazon or wherever you distribute your books?
Okay, so I'll start with the first question, which is my writing. Most of my books, now I have 10 books in total, but one is an adult
Okay,
coloring book
okay.
with biblical. That's a whole nother topic. But I also have one coloring story
Mm.
journal. So it's a coloring book. It's about the fruit of the
Mm.
spirit. Um, and the fruit of the spirit, there's 9 fruit of the spirit. So there's love, joy, peace, hope, gentleness, goodness, faithfulness, kindness, and I'm missing one. Joy, peace, hope. Anyhow, I'm missing one. But the point is, these are all the characteristics in the Bible that teaches us what what characteristics we should have as human beings walking this
Mm.
earth, that we will never be held. We will never be punished for those fruits. If our characters would just exude those fruits, we are fine. We will never go to jail because we are always going to be
Yeah.
kind. We're always going to love. Always going to be joyful. We're always going to be seeking peace. We're always going to be praying. We're always going to be faithful. We're always going to be gentle to the animals, we're always going to be good to each other. I just said all nine. So, so once we apply those, once we apply that to our lives, to our minds, and just execute everything that you do based
Yeah.
on those, then we in a good. Then we have the battle to heaven. We
Yeah, I feel
halfway
you.
there, And so that book is a book. It's a story, and a very short story. So it's the fruit, the scripture from the Bible, an example of children expressing that fruit, and then you there's a coloring page, and at the back of that, there now you have the opportunity to tell of 5 times when you executed that expression of that fruit of the
Mm.
spirit. And so that's one book. But all of my other books, of the nine, well, eight storybooks, full storybooks, I think I have written one here. One. I've written one here. And I go to Miami. That's where I did my chemotherapy and my surgeries. And so once I'm there, I don't have
Mm.
anything to do. I don't have anywhere to go. You don't get no bunch of visitors. So it's like a really a zen space for me to just lock up in the house, put on the AC, and just write for whatever inspires
Mm.
me at that time. Or if I see a friend and their children and I see a little awkward situation that I think somebody can learn something from, I'll write about it. Nayla's anger experience is a real story that happened between a sister and a brother, and I just turned it into a lesson that other people can learn from it. So to answer your question, I think my flow, as I call it, happens most of the time when I'm away. Um, but but yeah, I don't need 6 months. My books are maximum, I have one, I believe, with 50 pages, and that includes an illustration page. So you're looking at about 25 pages of pure story. So that can't take me 6 months. I could knock a book out for you in 3 days, And I want to increase on the lengths of the stories bit by bit
Mm.
for the teenagers. And then I'll cut back on the colorful illustrations and go black and white. Um, but I definitely want to keep them short and interesting and to the point. It don't take too long to get to my punchline, because I don't want them to get bored, and I want them to be able to write some essays from them or speak of their experience about the same types of things. And so, yeah. And then as far as where they sell, I think that was your other question.
Yeah, like, I guess, do you just sell, like, the ebook version, or do you also have, like, a hard copy paperback version that people buy?
I think one, two, three of my books have the e version. Only three of them. Or four maybe. One, two, three, four maybe. Yeah. But my books are all hard copies, not the hardcover, but the soft.
A paperback version.
So most of my books are the paperback version, and and I think well, all of them are on Amazon, and then you can go to my website. I have a website, www.tamleobooks.com, and now I finally start shipping from that
Sweet.
that website as well to the States or other places. And yeah, that's where you can get my books. Or in person in St. Martin, you could get them
Are they, like,
from me in
manufactured on
person.
St. Martin, or are they, like, manufactured in China as well?
KDP,
Where I have no
KDP,
clue what that it is.
Kindle, KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing.
Sweet.
But I have every intention to buy me myself a nice printer and a binding machine, because I would like to make the opportunity more. I would like to make it more. I want children to write books.
Beautiful.
I don't want them to have to go through the struggle of having to go through KDP, because you need to have a social, you need to have a bank account, you need to find
Mm.
ways to get that done. Luckily for
Yeah,
me, I have that, but a lot of people don't have it. So my cousin who published his book, he published it through my KDP.
I see, I see.
And I will do the same with other people until KDP says to me, "Hey, you publish it." You know, you're a publisher now under this publishing company. So that is my intention. But I also want to get the binder, and I also want to get a decent printer, and if possible, a laminating machine that I can then print
Mm.
for
That
children
is a
here.
beautiful goal. I feel like it's much needed, especially at that age. Like they will write you a story, it's easy peasy, and it's like something that you can have your whole life to say like, yeah, when I was in, little school, I wrote a book and other kids read my book. Like, it's important for the culture, and, like, I think it's so great what you do because it shows, like, the people, like, "Hey, like, if she can do it, you can do it. Like, we can all do it." Like, there's nothing stopping us from flooding Amazon with books written by St. Martiners. Like, all it does is help our people grow, our people share our culture even throughout the islands. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like there is nothing stopping us from being the Hollywood of the Caribbean, stopping us from being the New York, all of that. Like we have the culture. Like our culture is like nowhere else in the world. It's so amazing. Like
And you know what? You know what it is though. I don't know if it's a Saint Martin thing, a Caribbean thing, a world thing. I don't know, but people tend to grab on to their prized possessions, and this is how I am making my money, and so I'm not helping anyone get any children's book, because next thing you know, somebody gonna write a book better than mine, and then everybody gonna start buying their books, and nobody's gonna buy my book. That is the mentality of our people here. Meanwhile, I want everybody to write.
everyone.
Everybody need to write. Just write.
Exactly.
Bring, publish it. Bring them. I'm gonna help you out. Just, but I want everybody to write, because this industry is huge
Exactly.
already. As it,
Exactly.
it's crazy. This number one selling thing is not a easy thing to get by. However, you never know who will hit it big at what point. And if I hit it big, best believe I can pull some of my authors with me. You know, I mean, pay attention. You know, I always say people, Americans made America great.
Exactly.
We have to make our hair great. If
Exactly.
every
Exactly.
American wrote a book and all Oprah said was, "This is on my favorite list of books," guess what?
People bought it.
Million copies.
Who is our Oprah? That's what I'm saying. Like we don't need Oprah. We can build our own Oprah. Like we can build our own Ellens. We can we it's like where we focus our attention. If you want, you are giving Netflix money. We can build our own Netflix. We don't need them. Like we can do it all. Like it's just we have to prioritize our own voices, our own books, our own products first, and then buy the rest of the world's. I feel you. I feel you 100%.
But we also have to do it in a manner that we can tap into that market.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, hence my reason for not necessarily writing books that are only relatable to people here. Like, I have a friend who has a mad, cool concept for a children's book
Mm,
series. And I am just trying to light fire under her to start writing these
she
books,
should.
because her concept is
She should
amazing.
just do it.
And children will be able to relate to her concept, and that is going to inspire more people to write, and so I really, really, really wish that she could get on it and publish her book, because I strongly believe that she's going to touch lives with that concept. And
Guaranteed.
so
Guaranteed. Like
all I can do,
guaranteed.
motivate and inspire, and try to be the Oprah to get everybody books published as often as possible.
Exactly. You should totally 100% be our Oprah. You know what I mean? Like have the Tamara show. We go on, you create your reading list. We go through different St. Martin products. We could talk about the lemon, the lemonade. You get a lemonade, you get a lemonade, you all get a lemonade, like why not?
Exactly.
Like
Exactly. We also have Bush tea lemonade. You're right.
exactly,
You did.
exactly. But it's like it's so crazy because like as a St. Martiner abroad in the United States, I go to the grocery store. They have no products that are of my culture, of my people. None of it. I go to Florida for a week. They had some chicken patties. I swear I almost cried in Walmart. I was like, wow. this is unfair. And it's like I feel like people don't realize like we have St. Martiners everywhere. And like not even St. Martiners, we have Caribbean people everywhere. Don't you think they
Yeah.
want to eat stuff that they've grown up eating? Like
Yep.
I have no idea how much of St. Martin I miss. Like, and it's the little things. It's like your bush tea lemonade, like your the ice cream, like our snack boxes. Like I can't get a cashew cake for Christmas in America. Like this is not happening. You know what I mean? Like where am I gonna go and get the Johnny Cake or Johnny Cake mix? I can't get that at Kroger. But it's like these are all things that
Yeah.
I would rather be buying with my money than like some of the stuff that I'm forced to buy as a replacement because they don't carry what I want. But it's because like one, we aren't distributing our products on a large scale to prove to them that there is a market for our products because I can tell you our stuff has seasoning that actually tastes good. Like I be seeing some of this stuff that people be eating and I'm just like why? This is disgusting. This is straight up trash. Like but
Yep.
say like Caribbean food, say Martin food in particular is the best in like the world. Like I Ooh, like I miss it so I miss it every day. Like I feel like I was so spoiled growing up because they set a bar that just can't be met anywhere else. And I'm like, guys, you could sell this to the rest of the world. The rest of the world need your seasonings too. Like the rest of the world needs our culture,
Yep.
like because it is so beautiful. And I feel like when I see my people, I don't just see regular St. Martiners. I see future actors. I see future talk show hosts. I see musicians, the number one rappers in the region. Like, but it's like our people don't see that in themselves. And I'm like, guys, like you are all fabulous, all so powerful. But you have to like
Yep.
feel that you can achieve it. And I see it. Like our St. Martin is really like nowhere else. And it's like people I wish people recognize how valuable our culture really, really was. Cause it's incredible what we could do if people just believe. Like
Yep. 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 And we're back at
yeah.
one because that's what we started with, believing how powerful you are.
Exactly, exactly. I guess like because I remember on like Ralph show you were talking about getting your like your beverages in the US. Like has that been making any progress? Because I would love to see it at Whole Foods.
Well, what in Jesus' name it's going to be in Whole Foods soon enough. We have one tourist who came to St. Martin, tasted the bushy lemonade, and she fell in love with it and was like, listen, I gotta get this on shelves in America. I don't know how we're gonna do this. And we kept in contact with her. We just sent her her first batch of
Mm,
samples that she can do whatever she wants to, but she wants to get it in Whole Foods, she wants to get it in Trader Joe's, so I'm really looking forward to the manifestation of that.
me too, because I'm ready to buy it. Like I'm just like, here is my money. Like take it. Like I'm trying. I would be so ready to spend my money on it. Like I'm just like, can they please carry some of this stuff? Like people don't
Hmm.
understand. And it's like I feel like people just think like the tourist like I'm like, guys, so you think they like it for a reason? Like they don't get this back there. I can attest to it. It's very sad, very sad.
Yeah.
But I think we will get there. I feel like, you're making strides to just show that it's possible to folks. And I feel like that, like, hopefully will light a fire under people. Like, that's one of my goals with the nonprofit is just prove people you can do whatever it is you want to do in this life. Like, it is literally up to you every day to choose what you want to work on today. What goals are you trying to manifest? Because I can assure you, not everybody wants to do what you want to do. So, like, focus on that because, like, no matter what it is, like you were saying, like there's no competition. Like the market is abundant. The market will only continue to grow. If you have the better product, you will win. Try and true. Like you just have to keep pushing stuff out there.
Exactly. Exactly. And we just have to be each other's keeper. We just have to push each other and not be selfish and not secretly try to sabotage each other. We can do it. We can do it. I feel like I am going to do it, but not just for me. It's going to be for quite a
Mhm.
few of us. But you have to be able to see the vision. You have to be able to embrace the thought of what we're going to do and stay focused because I have had tons of reasons to just stop with these books. I have had reasons, and I am not stopping. I don't care who. Somebody in Zimbabwe is going to read my books. Somebody in Timbuktu, if that's a place, will read my
Exactly.
books. Alaska, Austria, Australia. Since they're two different places, they are all going to read my
Exactly.
books. I am so serious. If I have to start translating these books to start printing them in French and Spanish, so be it. These books need to get around
Yeah.
the world.
And like as you mentioned, I guess like how was it for you like getting treated in the United States? Like how was your experience? Like do you love the American medical system or like would you say cuz I feel like there's yeah, go ahead.
My my first encounter with cancer, I was diagnosed here in St. Martin, but at the time they told me it was benign. And I decided I was gonna get a second opinion. And then in America it was, no, this is not benign. This is cancer. And so I happened to have been there, and that's where we started it. And then since they were the ones that identified that it was indeed malignant, I decided to just stick with them. And so we did everything there. So this second time when I went back, I went on vacation while I was there, and I got a little pain. And Moosh was like, "Hey, why don't you check,
Yeah.
Ma? You're right here." And so I did exactly that. And that's how we found out that it was back. And again, I was already there, and my insurance covers out there. So I just stayed
That's
and had it
awesome.
done there. Um, I do not have a problem with my doctors here. I do not have a problem with my nurses here. But in some cases where we have to depend on, yeah, either sending you away because the all of the they don't have all the facilities here to deal with whatever, then I prefer, let me just take it over to America. At least that's what I prefer. And I had the insurance to be able to afford me that opportunity, regardless of how much I had to fight with them to get what is rightfully mine. But I'm sure you heard that on the interview
Yeah,
as
I
well.
did. I
You know?
totally did.
Um, so since I had that luxury, I decided to do it that way. But cancer is of the past now. So
I guess like did you use any natural like remedies as well, like noonie juice and stuff like that, or was it purely just like straight chemotherapy the whole time?
the first time was chemotherapy and radiation. This time was chemotherapy and plant based.
Mm, interesting. And I guess like how, because I mean I've never had to go through chemotherapy. How is like the actual procedure? Is it like you're in a room and they blast you with radiation, or is it more of like a syringe? Like I have no clue. What's the process?
Okay, so for radiation, I still had boobs then. Did a lumpectomy and took out
Okay,
the
okay.
tumor. And so I had breasts, regular
Yeah.
normal breasts. And what they did is they mark it. They create a mold that you lie on, and
Mm.
they beam you up like Scotty laser. So, and I mean, I think
I
my
see, I see.
first one was, I believe, 12 minutes, and then it keep dropping down till it was about
Oh.
7 minutes. And I did quite a few rounds of radiation, but um, the chemotherapy is a liquid. It's a liquid. I still have it, a
Mm.
port in my chest where they just poke you with a needle, and then it goes in there by drip, but much faster than it would if you just went through your regular veins.
Mm.
And I had like, I think I've experienced like four different types of chemotherapies. There's a red one, there's a clear one, there's an orange looking one. The one that was red, I used to call it blood of Jesus.
That's good. That's good though. You know what I mean? You're
Yeah,
sending in an army to fight. That's all
that's right.
good. That's good. I feel like it's good to have what do you call it, visualization exercises like that, because it's a mind body connection, and so you have to believe that you're treating yourself, that you're healing yourself. And yeah, that's super important. I guess, like, did you suffer any of the side effects as a result of
Every
chemotherapy?
single one that exists, I just feel as if I had such a good trip throughout. Okay, chemotherapy really, really, really is rough. I can't describe it. It's harsh, it's rough, it's
In like an exhausting fatigue or like a pain, just like,
all everything.
okay.
Pain, fatigue, bone pain,
Mm.
no taste. It's horrible. Nothing stays on your stomach. It's I do not want to experience that again. I've
Yeah.
had it. I went through it gracefully. I did my best to grace my way through it, and I trusted God with everything in me that I was going to be good. But I also trust God to know that I've had enough.
Mm.
I don't want to deal with that again. That's how bad it was.
I can only imagine. I mean, that just shows how strong you are. Like, to have the amount of energy you're displaying right now, like having gone through that, like, you're a warrior. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, you're incredibly strong. Like, wow, like that is incredible. As a woman, like, props to you. Like, you are incredible, an inspiration for sure, because I can only imagine, like you said, like most of the time when they show folks going through that, it's never in a positive light. It's always very like
No.
dreary. Like, they're pretty much half dead already, but like you're full of life. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you exude life. Like, and
And
that is
that glory
beautiful.
goes right back to God.
Yeah. That is incredible. That is so incredible.
Yes, yes, yes. This was nice.
I mean, for me, it's just like it's lovely to get to know people, and just to like understand their journey and what they've been through and how, just like how they continue to give themselves to the world. Cause I feel like that's what life is all about. Like, it's all about learning lessons every day. And the fact that you're
Hmm.
sharing your wisdom with others is like super important. I think, like, I can only imagine how many kids will benefit from the books that you're writing. Because for a lot of people, like, if you don't have that role model around you, it's hard to kind of figure out that you have to do all of that self-reflection to unlearn a lot of the bad behaviors that you're taught when you're a kid, because it becomes so attached to like your identity and how you see yourself that you think like, oh, I can never shake this reputation that I have. Like, people only, or like you have this whole belief of what people think about you that's all in your head that you don't even know if it like matches up to the truth or not. It's just what you tell yourself, and it creates like this, like you said, spiral of just like life not going in the direction you want because you keep feeding the version of yourself that you don't even want to be. But
Hmm.
like, to have you share like all of the lessons that you've gone through, especially like as being the warrior that you are, that you're fighting for your health every day. I think it's so important for people to see, like, one, like how important health is for us, and like how important it is, because I'm not sure if like, was this hereditary for you? Like, do you carry the BRCA9 gene? No. So it's like exactly to show like it's important for us to, one, understand like our health in terms of our ancestry, but also just to understand like how is the environment around us, the foods that we put in our body, the stresses that we carry, how does that impact our health? Because a lot of us, I feel like we hold on to grudges, and that just creates like disease in the body. Like, you hold on to pain and anger, and like it just knots up and starts, creating blockages in you. But if you have like that ability to reflect, and if you have like a religion that allows you to have a community, like that's so important, because support is everything. And I feel like a lot of times, like, people are alone and they just don't feel like they're supported or loved. But it's like if you carry yourself with love and kindness, I feel like, yeah, the world will be so much better. And like my dad was telling me, it's like it really is all about you. Like, if you focus on yourself and loving yourself and just being a loving person, and everybody did that, we wouldn't have half of the problems we have today. Like, it's just, but it's hard, like, as Michael Jackson said, to like look at the man in the mirror, and kind of just like look at them and be like, who is this person that I'm trying to be? And what should she or he represent? It's crazy. But I guess, do you have any last words you want to share with folks about any new books that you're coming out with, any tours or like readings that might be popping up soon, or like where they can get your books, whether it be for their children or, someone in their family to read and share the lessons?
As far as new books, I am looking forward to publishing in January. We don't have a title for it yet, but it speaks about that child that stands out
Mm,
um, among his or her friends based on being different. So, as well as inclusion. So, we're finding a way to work that story out. Also, I have I Can Be Whatever I Want to Be coloring book for children. So, it's a child looking through binoculars, wondering what they're going to look like as a
mm,
doctor, as a dentist, as a hairdresser, as a disc jockey, as so, and those are just coloring pages, and I'll probably put a couple words to say when I grow up, I want to be this.
mm.
To be this, I'm going to have to study really hard in school. I'm going to have to always tell the truth.
Yeah.
I'm going, kind of little guide
Yeah.
that will teach them how to grow into being who they want to be. And so that's it for so far for January. I intend to release a book. The idea is to release 2 books every month for the entire year of
Wow.
2022. But I also want to travel a lot in 2022, going to different places to read and sell these
Yeah.
books. So let's just see. It might be a tall order, but
Nah,
let's
I
see.
believe
Maybe I
in
could.
you. I believe you will do it. Like, manifest it. I definitely believe. I'm gonna check in and you'll be like, yeah, man, my book is definitely in Zimbabwe. They're reading it right now.
Right. That's right. And then I want to people can get my books on, like I said, my website is www.tamleo. My name is Tamara Leonard, so it's the first 3 letters of my first and last name. Dot tamleobooks.com. And they can also just punch in Tamara Leonard on Amazon, and all my books should come up there as well. And that's it.
Sweet.
As far as what I would like to encourage anyone with, we often hear dream and dream big, and believe in yourself and believe in your dreams because they come true. And that is true. But what I would like to add to that is when we are going through hardship, hard times, difficult situations, find and make time to produce or conceive something positive from it and execute it. In my case, I decided to write books. I did not conceive the idea of writing children's book. I saw it on TikTok and I was looking for something that I can do while I was battling so that I don't end up a loser to cancer. So I won the battle
Yeah.
because did the task. Thank God I'm alive. And I have books that I'm going to sell for the rest of my life
Reach passive income.
to so and have a passive
Mm-hmm.
income because of cancer. So do I regret it? I cannot, because out of it came something positive. And so that's why I want people, if I can impart anything to anyone through this medium, I would say regardless to what you may be facing or what you may be going through, it doesn't matter how hard, how sad, how angry you are. Use the time, take time out of that, conceive an idea that you could put something into action, be it to teach that same lesson to other people, or be it to create a passive income that is going to benefit you for going through. Reward yourself for your misfortune. Misfortune can make you or it can break you. Misfortune is exactly that, a misfortune. You missed an opportunity, something that happened that shouldn't have happened, but you could still turn it into a fortune.
Thanks for listening to this episode of The Chatterbox. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to show your support by subscribing to this podcast and leaving us a review. Follow us on Instagram at the.chattabox for teasers and updates.